Hi, this is week 6 discussion question. This week is a presentation using ProQuest newspapers, and my presentation is on Audie Murphy, and he is the most decorated soldier of World War II. Audie Murphy was born into a large family of sharecroppers. He was poor. His father abandoned them, and his mother passed away when he was 12 and kind of left him and his sisters and younger siblings on their own. um, he was born June the 20th, 1925, and he had always wanted to be a soldier. And after the attack on Pearl Harbor, his sister helped him to falsify an affidavit stating that of his birthday, but it was, of course, false. He was turned down by the Army, Navy, and the Marine Corps due to his low weight of 112 pounds and height of 5'5". He was eventually able to enlist in the Army in June of 1942. And in his book that he actually wrote, To Hell and Back, in 1949, Murphy really explained the struggle he went through as an adolescent and to be able to join the military and all of the exploits that he went through during World War II. Between his enlistment and the end of World War II, Murphy was awarded 23 medals for his conduct and service. An interview from the Washington Post by William C. Bernard discusses the bravery of Murphy and the 250 Nazis he's killed, along with other battle reports of Murphy. This is a 1945 paper. As you can see, it's talking about the freckled kid, $20, 250 Nazis, 6 tanks, and it is a fascinating story, almost unbelievable, but it is true. Another article is by the Sun newspaper out of Baltimore, Maryland. Murphy was asked why he gave his medals away. He actually gave them to his sons, but he gave them away after um, the end of World War II, and he stated that he never felt that they entirely belonged to me. My whole unit earned them, but I don't know how to give them to the whole unit. And this is Murphy answering the questions in the Sun out of Baltimore. He was charged. He was discharged out of the military with a 50% disability because of all his injuries during World War II. He transferred to the Officers Reserve Corps and ended up retiring or coming out of the military completely in 1969 as a captain in the Texas National Guard. Since his military service was really plagued with insomnia and bouts of depression, he had slept with a loaded pistol underneath his pillow. He really discusses this in To Hell and Back. A post-service medical examination in 1947 revealed symptoms of headaches, vomiting, nightmares about the war. And in one journal article that I did want to note, it was talking about Murphy. It was written by Gary and Stripko, and it really talks about his negotiating combat trauma and how he went on to try to really help men in the Korean and the Vietnam War. He really worked with the government trying to get more help and more benefits for those suffering with what they called battle fatigue or shell shock, which would be later labeled PTSD. After coming out of the military, after World War II, he was still part of the National Guard unit in Texas, or the reserves. Um, he actually began a film career, and he made more than 40 movies and one television show. He was also a poet and a songwriter. He acted in roles like Shakespeare, westerns, and military. And the book that he wrote, To Hell and Back, in 49, actually became a movie in 1955, and of course starred Murphy himself. And he said it was really traumatic reliving those events because he wasn't sure where to cut off between the scene of being back in that moment and then they yell cut and it's all of a sudden over and realize that it wasn't actually true. He was awarded the Hollywood Walk of Fame posthumously. On May 28th, 1971, Murphy was killed when the private plane that he and 5 others were on crashed into the side of a mountain northwest of Roanoke, Virginia. Um, the paper I have showing here is a special to the New York Times in 1971. It discusses the crash and it talks about the cause of the crash was not immediately determined, though the state police noticed that a light drizzle was falling in the area, and it goes on to it was definitely real because of the weather. Um, Murphy was buried with military honors at Arlington National Cemetery. Um, the ambassador to the UN, George H.W. Bush, and Army Chief of Staff William Westmoreland was in attendance there. The headstone of Medal of Honor recipients buried at Arlington are normally decorated in gold leaf. However, Murphy had previously requested that his stone remain plain and inconspicuous like that of an ordinary soldier. The New Mexico Review noted that his death drew numerous eulogies and memorials for his military exploits, with only passing references to the film career that spanned for 2 decades. Um, but they really wanted to. He was such a phenomenal character, and if you get the chance, read up. I have actually attached the list of awards that he won, and the stories behind them are absolutely fascinating. Thank you.